Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Therefore, proclaim openly what you are commanded, and turn away from those who associate others with Allah. Episode 6. My dear brothers and sisters, in our last episode, we saw the early days of Islam, when the message of truth was spreading quietly, heart to heart through faith and courage. The believers gathered in secret, whispering the words of Allah in small rooms, afraid of the powerful Quraysh, yet strong in their hearts. But now, a new command had come from Allah. The time for secrecy was over. The time had come to stand tall, to speak the truth, and to face the world no matter the cost. One day the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, received the divine command, "Arise and warn." It was time to call his people openly, to invite them to the worship of the one true God, to reject idols and to purify their hearts from falsehood. Imagine that moment, my brothers and sisters, standing alone in a city filled with idols, wealth, pride, and power, yet knowing that Allah is with you. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, climbed the hill of Safa, a place where people of Makkah would gather. He called out in a strong voice, "O people of Quraysh, come close, for I have something important to tell you." The people gathered, leaders, merchants, and even his own family. They respected him, for he was known as Al-Amin, the trustworthy. He asked them, "If I told you that an army was approaching from behind this hill, would you believe me?" They all replied, "Yes, of course. We have never known you to lie." And then with calm power he said, "Then know that I am a warner to you before a severe punishment. Worship none but Allah. Leave your idols and turn to the one who created you." Silence filled the air. People looked at one another in shock. This was not what they expected. Then his uncle Abu Lahab shouted with anger, "May you be ruined for this. Did you gather us here for this?" From that day, hostility began. The first open opposition to Islam started, and it came from his own family. But the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, did not stop. He continued to preach in the streets, in the markets, and at the Kaaba. He called the rich and the poor, the slave and the master, the man and the woman, to one message: there is no God but Allah. And the people of Quraysh were furious. Islam threatened their idols, their wealth, and their pride. They mocked him, called him a magician, a poet, a madman. But the Prophet, peace be upon him, remained patient. His mission was not to seek fame or power. His mission was to save hearts from darkness. As the message spread, more people began to embrace Islam. The young and sincere hearts were the first to respond, like Arqam ibn Abi Arqam, Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, and Abdurrahman ibn Auf. They gathered secretly to learn from the Prophet, peace be upon him. But now, the Quraysh started to notice. They tried to stop the message with words first, by mocking and insulting him. But when that failed, they turned to force. One of the earliest victims of their cruelty was Bilal ibn Rabah. May Allah be pleased with him. He was dragged through the hot sand, beaten and tortured under the burning sun. Yet his lips kept repeating, "Ahad, Ahad, 1-1. And there was also Sumayya bint Khayyat. May Allah be pleased with her, one of the first women to embrace Islam. She and her husband Yasir were brutally tortured by Abu Jahl, but she never denied her faith. She became the first martyr in Islam, giving her life for the truth. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, watched all this pain, his heart breaking for his followers. But he reminded them, "Be patient, for paradise is waiting for you." He did not ask Allah to destroy his enemies. He prayed for their guidance. He said, "O Allah, forgive my people, for they do not know." What mercy, what love, Even when hurt, his heart only knew compassion. The Quraysh then tried another way. They went to his uncle Abu Talib, who protected him. They begged him, "Stop your nephew from preaching or we will fight him." Abu Talib spoke to the Prophet, peace be upon him, saying, "My nephew, please don't make things harder on me." And what did the Prophet, peace be upon him, reply? He said, "O my uncle, even if they place the sun in my right hand and the moon in my left, I will not abandon this mission until Allah makes it victorious, or I perish in the effort." Subhanallah. That's the strength of faith, unshakable, pure, unstoppable. Day after day, the message continued. Islam was now public and the tests were growing harder. But every challenge brought more believers, every insult made their faith stronger, and every act of cruelty became a step toward victory. Allah was preparing them, teaching them patience, unity, and sacrifice. Because every great mission begins with trials, and the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught them the greatest lesson of all, never to hate even in pain. Islam is not a religion of revenge, but of mercy and truth. My dear brothers and sisters, the open call to Islam was the turning point in history. From that moment, the message of La ilaha illallah began to echo through the streets of Makkah, reaching every heart, when some in anger, some in awe, and some in faith. The lesson for us today is clear. When you speak the truth, not everyone will accept it, but speak it anyway, with patience, with love, and with trust in Allah, because the truth of Allah never fades. In the next episode, we will see how the opposition grew stronger, how the believers faced pain, boycotts, and exile, but through it all they held firm in faith. So stay with us on this sacred journey through Siraat-e-Nabvi. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to True Sunnah, to keep walking in the footsteps of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, spreading peace, mercy, and truth across the world.